Hey everyone, I'm Hughie here. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. And I went to the movies over the weekend and watched Novocain. It's finally got released in the UK. It's been out in America for about a few months, I think now. And it's finally come to the UK. And I'm very happy because it was advertised all over my social network feed, which is quite good. You know, the advertisement for this movie is spot on. Um, and if you still haven't heard of it or you don't know, it pretty much is the movie starring Jack Quade, and his character can't feel any pain. So it's like he has to pretty much, he works at a bank and he starts talking to this girl who likes him. She likes him, he likes her. It's really quite cute, you know, I'm buying the chemistry between them as well. I will point that out. And the bank gets robbed and she gets kidnapped and he has to go and save her. So it's pretty much, that's the basic of the movie without getting into any spoilers, without saying anything. That's the movie. It's a simple plot, and it's, you know, but it's done really well. It's like, you know how it's going to end. You kind of know where it's going to go, but you don't really know how it's going to end actually. In a certain way. You don't know if he's going to live or die because he's never done this before. He's just thrown into it, and the only unique thing about this movie, which is really good, is he doesn't feel any pain. So, like I said at the beginning, he has to he can't chew food because he's afraid he'll bite his tongue off. He won't feel it. He's afraid of any corners and stuff, so he's got tennis balls on the end of his desk at work, and at home he's got tennis balls on handles, any corners. He's pretty much baby-proofed everywhere. It's the best way to describe it. It's baby in your life, in a way. And the reason he really likes this girl is because she lives on the edge in a way. She's quite very you know, you should just do it. You should just chew and just, chew, have, it sounds daft, but like she's eating this lovely pie, chocolate pie. It looks mint as well. It's like cream on and everything, and he won't taste it. And it's like, no, I've brought my own dinner. And he just orders the milkshake, and that's when we realise why. She actually gets him to eat a solid food, and he's like, wow, this is pie. He's never had it since he was a kid. His parents weren't allowing him to eat anything solid. And the average age, the average lifespan's about 25 with it. Because people legit have it. People have a thing where they can't feel no pain. It reminds me of that villain out of James Bond where, you know, he punches the box and just pulls the wood out and he's like, I don't feel any pain. You still get damage. You don't realise, like she said, oh, you know, you're like a superhero, but you're not. You know, you get damage, and that's what's good with this movie. I was worried it was going to be a bit of a slapstick movie, and you could argue it's actually no. You could argue it's exaggerated, but it's not a slapstick movie. The hits he takes, he feels, and you feel them as a viewer. There's an arrow through his knee at one point. It's in the trailer. There's the thing that goes on his back. You've probably seen that in the trailer. And it's it's quite grim. Like, you see him trying to pull the arrow out, and it's just not happening. So he's just left it in because he can't feel it. But he still hops about because he's a great actor as well. You know, he's just like his dad. His dad's an amazing actor as well. But it's like he spot on cast for the movie, spot on choice. And it's like, again, because he can't feel any pain, it's showing him how far he will go to rescue her. You know, how much like injuries he will take just to rescue this girl that he's met because he fell in love with her. And it's actually really cute at the same time, but I will warn you, it's 15, but personally, borderline 18, because it is really grim. It is it's more grim than what I just watched, Heart Eyes. It's a lot more grim than that, and that was quite grim. But this is because he doesn't feel the pain. So he, this, for instance, I'll throw out, it's the beginning, it's not a spoiler, but it's grim. More grim for the missus because she works for food. There's a kitchen fight scene. He chases down one of the robbers. They do a little clever thing because they both have a car, the robbers, and there's these two brothers, so to speak, and one drives a different car, one drives the other, and they split off because Jack Wells chasing them in a cop car. You know, you've seen it in the trailer anyway. And he turns off, and anyway, they end up going to a kitchen and fighting, and he has a gun because he picks up the cop's gun out of the car, and they have a fight, and the guns It's so funny, the fight scenes in this movie. Guns have no weight to them, I've realised in this movie. When a gun gets knocked out of someone's hand, it flies a mile. It proper, like, honestly, he has a gun and it goes, phew, like, right the other side of the kitchen. And so this, obviously, in the kitchen, you know where it's going to end up. There's a hot fryer, there's a hot pan. So the gun goes in the fryer, and there's a pan, and he grabs the pan, and it burns his hands, but he doesn't feel it, obviously. So he's pointing the guy hits it, and the guy goes to grab it because he thinks, oh, and then the guy's like, ow, like, what the hell's going on? And it's just really cool. And there's a certain scene I want to talk about as well that I think's hilarious. But getting back on the grim bit, he dips his hand in the hot fryer to get the gun to shoot him, and it is grim. The missus was Quinton because she works with food. She's had oil burns, pan burns. I've had oil burns, and they're not pleasant. It's accurate how his hand looked. It's just all the blisters, but you can't feel it, can he? So he was fine, but it was really grim. So that's a warning for the movie. It is grim, but it's not like he's not in pain. So it's weird. It's more puts the viewers in pain, but he's not in pain. So this is how good of an actor he is, Jack Quade. Like, you can't say, he's Nepo baby and all that, but you can't say he hasn't worked for this, because he plays it really well. Because even if you're looking at it, it's just very propped. You can pull a face, but he just looks and he's like, you can tell that he's got that mentality of just being, oh, okay, that's happened. And it's just like, okay, that doesn't look good. I must, let's get that look at that. There's a certain scene, like, it's not too grim, but he gets shot and he has to cut to get the bullet out. And it's just so different, because movies used to, like, pulling the face or something, and he's just so like, yeah, oh, is that it? There it is, it's out. It's really cool. And how the story plays out, I have to say, one of the main villains has a lot of fun with his role. And he should be a dislikable character, but he's so dislikable that, because he's into the role, you like him. I was low-key rooting for him a little bit, obviously, until you find out a few things. But I was kind of like, obviously I like Jack Quade anyway, but I was kind of like, I wouldn't be too mad if he got away with the money. But I will let you know about a scene that I think's really funny. Now, it's not a spoiler, you see it in the movie. You see it in the trailer. You see it in the movie. I hope you see it in the movie. You see it in the trailer, and it's they experiment a lot in this movie. So it's very self-aware, and that's what I like. That's why I like Paramount Plus movies. They're very self-aware. That's the best thing to do, because when you're doing a daft movie where your character, for instance, can't feel no pain, you could make it a slapstick comedy all the way through. You could have him getting flung over things and everything, and him just getting up and, walking it off, not even limping. But in this, he takes the hits, and as much as you can't feel it, you can see it's having an effect on him. And that's what makes the movie really good. And like I say about the self-aware bit, the house bit, the brother of the guy from the beginning, the guy who gets shot at the beginning, his brother, obviously the two brothers robbed the bank. It's not a spoiler. He is in his house and he finds Jack Quade, and there's a scene he has to wait for his friend to come and rescue him. And I knew straight away when his friend spoke, from the sound of the voice, even without looking at the cast, that it was Ned. That was Spider-Man. Ned. And he's mint in this as well. He's actually really good in this. He wasn't Spider-Man, but he's really good in this. So he sort of has to delay this guy from killing him, but the guy obviously just found out that he killed his brother. So he's like, right, I'm gonna kill you. So he goes to go and do it. He's like, oh, don't you want to take it? No, please do it as quick as you can. And plays along. And there's a bit where he's sat in the chair. I'll talk about it because it's funny. He's sat in the chair and he's getting tortured, and he has to play along with it. So because he can't feel any of it, but he's acting like, he'd be like, this is a bit grim, but he pulls like a nail off, and it is grim. But it's like, oh no, no, don't do it again. Oh, that's really, and it's just the way he said, oh, that's really painful. But the way he says it is just like very, and the guy's confused. He's like, oh, you think you know pain, and then it's just certain things. But like it by the self-awareness, I mean, is there's certain bits of the movie where, like in that torture scene, certain bits he was going to do where you like, even without feeling pain, you wouldn't want that to happen. For instance, he wants to take his eye. You don't want that. You're going to be blind. You won't feel it, but you're going to be blind and you're going to be screwed. It's stuff like that where it's self-aware in certain injuries that you really just don't want. Not that you want your hand in a deep fat fryer, but you can still, you know, mobilise yourself with that. But if your hand got cut off, that type of thing. But the movie's really good. Like I say, it's very experimental with certain stuff, like the injuries he gets. The only downside of the movie is for me, I was enjoying it and having an absolute blast with it anyway. So was the missus, but it overstays its welcome a slight bit. So near the end, not spoiling it, so don't worry about this. But you think it wraps up, then it doesn't. Then it doesn't. It's that type of thing. There's a part one, let's say, the bank heist. Part two, him rescuing her, right? Part three, won't mention, don't want to spoil, but you know how it goes. Final fight, let's just say that. And then it goes, final fight part two. And then it shows ending. And it's like, it's just a bit too long. It didn't have to be 2 hours. 90 minutes would have been great. And it's not that I'm mad at that though. I just know that it's too long. It's that type of thing. It's like, I'm happy that we got to see more at the end, but I would have been happy with just one boss fight. As much as I really liked the actor and I thought he put his all in, like, I've got to give props to the actual main villain. When you get down to it, he's mint. They both were, really. The whole cast was great. The cop as well, the cop lady, she was mint. The cop guy, he was class. He was literally me if I was a cop. If I was a detective. See, yeah, that would be me. I just wouldn't care at a certain point, especially at his age. He didn't care. And it was just, oh, it's mint. Honestly, it was really good. It's well worth a watch if you just want to put something on, switch your brain off, but also prepare for, well, you don't even have to switch your brain off, because you do want to pay attention, because you want to you're looking at the environment, make sure he hasn't, you know, hurt himself and something, because he doesn't know. It's just really cool. But like I say, there is something I'm going to get into. It's not a spoiler, actually, if I say it. No, I won't say it yet. I will put a slight spoiler warning. What I'll do is I'll wrap up the video here, but I will put my gripe with the ending of it, because I'll have to say, obviously, I won't say the end, but I'll just say that, yeah. Oh no, I'll just say it as an example. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll wrap up here. If you like the video, you know, comment, subscribe. I'll do more videos like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say this is a mild spoiler warning, because I'm not exactly going to say why. I just have to speak about it so you know why I don't like it. It's just a gripe of mine. This is a gripe of mine with everything. I'm going to do this. So the movie wraps up. This is the end, but I'm not going to tell you what happens with the last fight. I'm not going to tell you how it goes down. I'll predict the end anyway. You know the end. You know he's not really going to die. So anyway, you know, I won't say what happens, but let's just say he wakes up in hospital in a cast because of all the injuries, and he's scarred up. He's you know, his skin graft in his hand from the boil, and it cuts a year later, and there's no sign of him being injured. So, for instance, his hand looks a bit red, but there was like a little scar here, nothing there when it showed him. There was no sort of not to spoil it too much, but his arm gets broken in the movie. You don't see any scars, like the bone comes out. There's no scars on his arms. I'm not saying it's something bad, it's just something that it would have been good to have seen how, because let's face it, you're not going to be like, ooh, I'm fine a year later. It's only a year as well. You're still going to be healing. You're still going to be like limping about a little bit. You're still going to be healing. And I just feel like it should have showed a bit more. It was nice to see the ending, but it would have been nice to have seen him just sort of get by, like even if he had a cane for a little bit, because let's face it, realistically, you're knacked up. And I just wanted to see, I like details. I'm like this with games as well. Like a character will get hit in the face in a game. And I liked, was it Uncharted? Where the last one especially, where every hit he takes, you see the detail. Especially at the end, he's all bandaged up. Even if it was a year later, he'd have a little scar and stuff. You know, on his arms, he does, like The Witcher. It just would have been a little detail because he shows at the end his chest, the tattoo. It just would have been cool to have seen even the scar here on his arm, or just a few scars. It just would have been like something I would have been like, oh, I appreciate that. Because I've added that in at the end. It just would have been good. But yeah, to be honest with you, it's a rom-com. It's a very grim action rom-com, but it starts off like a rom-com and then it ends like a rom-com. So it's really good. Again, highly recommend, especially if you like Jack Quade. Highly recommend the movie. So yeah, wrap up. Like I say, it was just my gripe with the movie. It wasn't no major. It was nothing too spoilery even what I spoke about, because there's a lot the movie does. There's a lot that I've missed out. That isn't a spoiler. But really, the movie is great, and I highly recommend you see it. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it at the movies. It's worth it just to go to the movies and watch it. And like I say, it's going to come up Paramount Plus soon as well. And so will Heart Eyes. Watch Heart Eyes. It doesn't matter if it's not Valentine's Day. Save it for next year, but watch it now. On that note, I'm going to end this. I didn't know we had coyotes. Oh God, it's dogs barking. Or fighting.